Hey friends, it's Doona here, and my friend Robert, who's going to be my student for today. We're going to be focusing on how to do a Warrior 3. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, so I suggest if you have a chair nearby, grab a chair. Walls work fine, or anything like a chair. All right, or you won't even probably need it. Okay, so Robert, I'm actually gonna have you get straight into your Warrior 3. And let's see as Warrior 3 and we'll kind of work from there. Okay, so I see that his hand is to heart center. You could actually go ahead and release. Let's actually talk about the hands. So Warrior 3, there's different options. Okay, the easiest option your Warrior 3 is hands to heart. The variation that Robert did, which is totally fine. That's actually my favorite variation. If you bring your arms next to your side or next to your biceps, that's going to be the most challenging variation of your Warrior 3. You could also do Warrior 3, arms by your side. Okay, so arms by your side, hands to heart, or biceps next to your ears. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and start with hands to heart. So can you actually show us that again? Okay, so good. So with Robert, actually, can you do the other leg so we could kind of show them the hips? Okay, so really nice. Okay, so you see how Robert's entire torso and his right leg is pretty straight and almost parallel to the floor. That's really good. That's where we want to get into. Now, you'll notice that his right hip is slightly open. I want you to focus on rolling your right outer hip down. Keep going. Yes, so now his pelvis, if you were to place a book on top of his lower back pelvis area, you could take a rest. It's very it's neutral, okay? So your hips are not, one is not more open, it's completely squared. So the frontal hip bones should be pointing directly down towards the floor. Now, on February 21st, I did a video on standing splits. Exactly like your standing splits, pelvis, hips, and leg, your hips should be square, all right? So with Robert, go ahead and go back to it. Okay. Good. So now, if it's too difficult for you to keep your hips squared, I want you to lift your chest a little higher and drop your right leg. Lift your, like a lot more. Let's over exaggerate. So lift your chest up, up. Yeah, so now that his chest is lifted up and his right leg is down, his hips are squared, is more squared. This is better than, can you drop your chest and open your right hip? Better than that. And this is what you'll see in class. That is the most common Warrior 3 you'll see in class. So always modify as you need. Remember, hip square, pelvis neutral is the most important. So whether or not you need to lift your chest and drop your leg down to keep your hips and pelvis neutral, that's okay. All right, so your Warrior 3 looks good. Let's keep moving on. You can switch legs. Yeah, balance it out. Okay, so actually, before you get into it, usually to get into Warrior 3, there's so many different ways to get into it, but because we are just in the standing position, I'm going to cue you from the standing position, okay? So now, right toes, which is the standing foot, should be pointing straight forward. Always feel free to micro bend your right knee as much as you need. You never want to lock it or hyperextend the standing knee, okay? So now, set up your arms. You could bring your hands to heart. Stand up nice and tall, lift your sternum. Good. Engage your core right away. Your core should be engaged the entire time. Now, as you drop your chest down and extend your left leg up, I want you to focus on leading with your left inner thigh. So your hips are squared. Good. And flex your left foot a lot so your entire left leg is active, especially through the hamstrings and the quad. Yeah, this one's a very challenging advanced pose. So what you're doing, Robert, right now is pretty awesome. This one's a challenging one. Good. So right foot is flexed, right leg is completely straight and active. Drop your left hip down just a tad bit more by rolling your left inner thigh up. Now I want you to reach your sternum forward. Reach your sternum forward to lengthen your spine. Yours looks amazing. Drive your shoulders away from your ears and invite a lot of space around your neck. Good. You could go ahead and release and take a break. Okay? So everything looks amazing, all right? So now you'll also see this a lot, okay? So in Warrior 3, everything looks pretty neutral and straight, but you'll see a lot of sticking out the chest, okay? So you want to draw the front ribs in and then find that neutral spine, okay? So you don't want to overarch, you don't want to round, all right? So now the last thing is, go ahead and do your whatever side. Okay, now this time he's going to lead with his right inner thigh to keep his hips squared. Notice where you're putting more weight into your left foot, that standing foot. You want to press into your left big toe so you're not leaning towards the knife edge of your left foot. And try to be fairly light on your toes. You don't want to grip too much. And try to press more into all four corners of the foot. Awesome, really nice. Go ahead and slowly release. Good. Okay, so now the best way to learn this pose at home is by videotaping yourself. Because when you're doing this in class or without a mirror or a video, you really don't know how you look like, especially if you're new to yoga. So I would say have fun with videotaping yourself. Another one is a chair is also great to find the correct alignment. So I'm going to have you place your hands shoulder width apart. Good. And then adjust your feet and then just come straight into your Warrior 3. Yeah, you might have to probably walk forward. Back. Yeah, so your arms should be straight. And this is the full Warrior 3, the one where I mentioned biceps next to your ears. Good, okay, good. So now your chest is a little bit dumped, good. So lift up a little bit, good. Biceps frames his ears. Keep your right leg firmed up and lift your right leg leading with your inner thigh. Kick up with your right heel. Good. With the chair, obviously, you're finding more stability since you have something to hold on to. But now, everything is pretty aligned, okay? So now can you start to hover your hands? And try to keep that balance. Yeah, you could kind of lightly touch the chair too. Yeah, there you go. Good. So this is a nice drill to do at home to build strength through your standing leg, your glutes, your hips, and core. Good. The chair helps a lot, right? And you could feel it, right, as well in your body with the chair. Yeah, so now the more you start to practice this Warrior 3, the more you start to feel it in your body and the easier it gets. Good. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much for joining in. Again, please comment below if you have any recommendations for our next how-to video. What do you want to see? What do you want to work on? Thank you. I'll see you guys next week.